In the eerie moonlight, the air was thick with anticipation as my mother, Sarah, stepped foot onto the grounds of her uncle's ancient estate. Little did she know that the shadows concealed a secret from her past, one that would forever haunt her nightmares. Drawn to the tranquility of the garden, Sarah wandered among the overgrown foliage, memories of her childhood flooding back. As she gazed across the serene landscape, a peculiar sensation tugged at her senses, the feeling that she was being watched. From the corner of her eye, a faint flicker of movement caught her attention. She turned, her heart skipping a beat, and there, just a few feet away, stood a figure she thought she'd never see again. It was her brother, David, who had tragically passed away at the tender age of 10. A mix of disbelief and terror washed over Sarah as she watched David move with an ethereal grace, his eyes fixated on some unknown point in the distance. A ghostly gaze seemed to pierce through her, freezing her in place. Overwhelmed by a flood of emotions, Sarah gathered the courage to speak her brother's name. David. Her voice trembled, echoing through the silent night. But there was no response, only the hollow sound of her own voice carried away by the wind. Driven by a desperate need to understand, Sarah started to follow the apparition, her footsteps matching the ghostly rhythm of David's movements. She called out his name repeatedly, but each time, her voice seemed to dissipate into the void, unheard by her lost brother. As they turned a corner, a chilling realization struck Sarah. The specter before her was not of this world, it was the ghost of David, a fleeting presence from beyond the grave. Goosebumps crawled across her flesh, and a sense of dread enveloped her. She had unwittingly ventured into a realm where the living and the dead converged. A cold gust of wind whispered past her, carrying with it fragmented whispers of secrets long forgotten. It was as if the spirits of the past were urging her to escape, to flee from the clutches of the unknown. With every fiber of her being screaming for her to run, Sarah mustered her strength and sprinted towards the safety of her uncle's house. Breathless and trembling, she burst through the doors, seeking solace within the confines of familiar walls. Her heart raced, the realization sinking in that she had encountered the ghost of her long-lost brother, a twisted remnant of a tragic past. She narrated what she had witnessed to her uncle. Her uncle told her he had caught a glimpse of him twice in his garden but never mentioned it to anyone. To this day, Sarah cannot shake the memory of that encounter, the ghostly apparition forever etched in her mind. A chilling reminder that the veil between life and death is fragile, and the spirits of the departed may seek to communicate their untold stories with those who dare to listen.